a saxologist. Today, I have a very special guest. He is a international recording artist with over 13 projects as a solo man and countless others with other people, though. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to introduce you to, and some of you, a lot of you already know who he is, but Mr. Paul Taylor. Paul, how you doing, brother?
I'm doing fantastic. Thank you for having me, Dave.
You know
Appreciate
what,
it.
Paul? First of all, I want to say, I jacked your horn, right? I saw your. Did you see that?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, you did.
I'm gonna tell you. I'm
You
gonna
got
tell
the
you.
black ruby.
That's it. I'm gonna tell you how it happened. I had a Jupiter. I mean, not a Jupiter. The Raven. I had a Raven. I
Okay.
sold the Raven, and I was gonna get the 25th anniversary.
Okay.
I'm watching YouTube, and I see you on there playing. And Paul said, "Paul, get down, man! I like that horn. What is? That's a cannonball." A few weeks later, I'm watching an online thing. The guy says, "Look at this beauty we have. It's a demo model, Cannonball." I said, "Click." That was it.
All right. That's the brand to go with.
Yeah, you inspired me, man. Well, you know what? Let's start at the beginning, Paul. So I read that you're from Denver, Colorado. Is that correct?
Absolutely. Born and raised Denver, Colorado.
How was that?
I'll go on. Yeah, raised in Denver, Colorado. In the '60s, and how I got started was kind of like, I don't want to say on a lark, but I had a younger brother, Bentley. So my parents got my brother and I in a music youth group in Denver, Colorado called the Denver Youth Musicians Gold Sash Band. And I guess like in lieu of like playing sports, we were like band kids. And so we got in that organization, and they taught us like the fundamentals of music. First of all, even before we got a horn, like how to notate it and all the, eighth notes, quarter notes, whole notes, and all that. And so then we got the horns and started just at the bottom level, beginning band and all that. And the funny story is that on meeting the director of the band, he looks at your how tall you are and whatnot, and he decided what instruments we should play. So he looked at my brother and said, "You're going to play the clarinet, and you, Paul, I'm going to start you on the sax." There's a story of how I, got how the sax, equivocated with me. And so anyway, we just stayed with that for many years till about 16. And we did like concert band music, and we did fundraisers door to door, raising money for our organization. And we had to wear uniforms and whatnot. And so it taught you like how to be on time and stuff like that, and wear your uniform just right, or you got demerits. And we had like marching band and like in parades and stuff behind horses and stuff. And then I just kept on going, and then junior high, and then got in the jazz ensemble, and then like, wow, this is a little bit of different kind of some cooler music. And then that was really cool. And then in high school, I guess I was getting I'd been playing a little while at that time, so I was getting good for my age, I guess. And so then some other classmates heard me play and said, "Hey, let's get a band together." And these guys were like over about 3 different high schools in town, and so we started a band like jazz, funk, and like pop of the '70s now. And so it was called Mixed Company. And then we started just in the garage and started playing and rehearsing, and then we just started at the bottom, like with parties, and like, can we play at your party just for free, whatever. And then like kegger parties, and then bar mitzvahs. And then we started gradually getting better and better, and then we actually started gigging in clubs. And so like during that time, like listening to Earth, Wind and Fire, Grover, Patrice Rushen, the Brecker Brothers, David Sanborn, Ronnie Laws. I was just absorbing everything and like really loving jazz. And then when we started gigging, that this is like, oh man, this is like what I want to do, but I want to be a solo artist long term. And so that really shaped what I wanted to do. And then I just kept on going. I got a full ride scholarship on a classical piece that brought me to Las Vegas. Then, long story short, I got my degree and paid about 15 years of dues in Las Vegas, playing in the state and lounge bands and what have you, and corporate gigs. And then always working on my music and writing original songs. And then got my break in like 93 or so. And thanks to my good pal. He's one of my producers as well, Dino Esposito. And then I played in Catalina Island with Jeff Lorber. And then that B led meeting Keiko Matsui. So those three people, Dino, Jeff Lorber, and Keiko Matsui, kind of got me my break. I played with Keiko Matsui a couple of years after that, and then I got my record deal off of playing with her. And here I am talking with Dave Parks.
Wow, man, I tell you what, that is amazing. What's mind-boggling to me is like when I interview you artists, all you guys are so great, and you all have similar stories, but they're also very different, though. You know what I mean? And it's
Sure.
fascinating. So my question to you is, which saxophone did you start out on, and what was the brand?
It was definitely the alto sax, and the brand was geez, I don't have it anymore. Then my brother played it for a while. It was like an unknown, like Elkhart, Indiana. It was like a just a beginning sax.
Okay, all right,
Yeah.
yeah. So over the years, though, as you started getting better and everything, what did when you did your first record deal? What were you playing on then?
Oh, and then I was playing on a Selmer Mark Six. My after I got in the Gold Sash band, after I got first chair, my parents got me like the best horn that was out at that time. I was like, hey, that's cool, but I probably, was a little early for that. But I got a Summer Mark Six brand new, like in probably like, I don't know, just before the 70s. And then so yeah, I played in that for many years. That's still my horn. And then later on, as you get in the music business, you get like endorsements and stuff like that. And so then Cannonball came along and like, wow, they have really cool horns too, and they have different finishes, which is I love that. The
Yeah.
finish,
Oh yes.
that you
Yes.
saw that
Yes.
finish and like,
Yeah.
and they played great as well. So I went that way. I have three sets of Cannonballs actually. I have the Brute, alto tenor Brute series. Then I have I have I have two series of Cannonballs and the Black Ruby Cannonball, Black Ruby.
Oh, do you? Okay. Oh,
Yeah.
so you got the Big Bell series and the other one then. Is that it?
Yeah, exactly. The Brute series is just the regular bell.
Right, 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 right. So how did you get that endorsement? Those are great horns and great people, by the way. How did you end up getting that endorsement with Cannonball?
Well, let's see. I went to the NAMM show several years ago and went to their booth and just approached them and just laid it all out and said who I was, and they've heard of me. Thankfully, I have some, many years. I've been out many years after that, since then. And then they heard me and gave me an endorsement. It was pretty painless, And
Right.
I like their brand. I like their brand and like the models they have, the finishes, and I played it extensively, and I like what they played, and so that's how I got it.
And that band they have is amazing. Did you ever play in the band? Any of those, the videos that they do? Did you ever do any of those?
Yeah, I need to do that. I have not done that yet, and to my just I should do that. I have
You
not gone
should.
out to
I
Utah.
know. That's why I brought
Yeah.
it up. You should be on there because those Randall Clark,
Oh yeah,
oh, dude,
tearing it up.
he's good, isn't he, man? I was like,
Absolutely, absolutely.
yeah, yeah, and Gerald Albright, obviously, that's,
There you go. Little story. I'm trying to get my. I'm trying. I've always been asking them for like a signature horn, but Gerald's got it all locked up. I can't. Gerald. We can't say Gerald Albright. So
that was my next question. Actually, I was going to ask you, are you going to get a series, your own series of it, though? Yeah,
I would love to, if they're out there. I'd love to get a signature horn,
yeah,
but you got to get in where you fit in, and
that's it. That's it.
I'm cool with that.
Now, when I first heard you, I think Pleasure Seeker was when I was really, really, but you were playing soprano on that, though. Am I correct?
That is on soprano,
Yeah.
correct? Yeah.
So I thought
When
you
I
was a
came out, I had
soprano.
alto and soprano. Later on, I got some songs on tenor, but definitely alto and soprano.
When I first heard you, I thought you was a soprano player because I heard a lot of soprano, and then I
Uh-huh.
see you threw the alto in there as well, though.
Absolutely.
And then also, I noticed that you were a vigilante endorser for the mouthpieces.
Yes, indeed. Yeah, that's a very important endorsement as well. I think the mouthpiece is probably one of the most important things. And so I played a Gardala all the, several, like, for decades, for maybe a good over a decade. And then I saw it was starting to kind of wear out a little bit. And so it's like, wow, I got to get a backup. I got to get a replacement eventually for this mouthpiece. And so I went to the NAMM show, my first NAMM show, and then the lady Jennifer Price was there, and she's the one, kind of the person behind Dave Gardala's mouthpieces. And so I hit her up for like, hey, you need to make some more mouthpieces. And like, well, I'm not doing that anymore, or whatever. But I just said, like, please make a go back into mouthpieces because that one is played so good. And you know what? And then like 2 years later, she did. And
Okay.
then she endorsed me on some sent me some mouthpieces out. I fell in love with the one I'm playing now, and they're fantastic.
You playing on all your pieces, or what are you playing now on all your setups right now?
I'm
Mouthpieces.
playing the Vigilante, the New York 2 on my alto, and I'm playing I think a similar one on tenor. Has a kind of it's like the bright sound, like the New York kind of Mike Brecker kind of sound.
Right.
And then but on my soprano, I go with my old, like, I have a vintage Miami, Florida Dukoff.
Okay. Dukov's
And
always a
so
great piece. Those are great pieces, man. Yeah.
absolutely, those are on all that pieces on all my soprano songs.
Now, do you still play tenor, or is it just on occasion?
I do play tenor. It just like it's kind of both. I do play, but I don't play it all that often. But it's ready to go when I need it. I would play it in concert, but I can't bring three horns. It's just a little bit too much to carry and all that, and the cost and checking bags and all that stuff. So maybe one day I will.
What
I'm
is
not
that like?
counting it out.
What is that like, man? When you traveling on the road with your horns and stuff, man? I mean, how meticulous is that? Do you have to watch how they store them, or do they make you put them underneath, or how do you normally navigate that?
Yes, it's very carefully done. Just carry it on.
Yeah.
That's the bottom line. Carry it on and have a good case. So when they put stuff, all their other stuff in there, the roller bags and all that, it's all safe. Just bring it on and just try to get an early boarding group so they don't deny you, getting it on there. I learned a hard lesson from that a long time ago. That's pretty much it.
Yeah, I can imagine if you're trying to carry a baritone, you're not getting that in there. That's definitely going on the bottom, isn't it?
You could try. You might be able to get away with it sometimes, but sometimes I think they're gonna like say, but you just try to get there early, get on there
Yeah.
early, yeah.
So when you were coming up playing what was the music scene like in Las Vegas as you were growing up, cutting your chops and everything? What was that like, man?
Yeah, so like I got there in 1978, the fall of 78, and I was just like, out of state to college. So you're like a babe in the woods, like just checking everything out. Here's Las Vegas, all the glitz and glamour of Las Vegas in the 70s. And right back then it was pretty much like the connotation of a lounge lizard. If you weren't like playing, if you weren't like a big star, you were just playing, like, gigging, all that, you were like a lounge lizard. It had a stigma to it. So it's like whatever, but I got in some bands, some cover bands and stuff. Even when I was going to school a little bit, and just worked my way up, and then like playing behind singers and stuff like that. So it was basically like just kind of like just playing cover bands and playing like with singers that wanted to be like Dean Martin or Frank Sinatra or whatever. And just like, and after a while, like, oh man, this is like paying my bills and stuff. But I always kept my eye on the prize. I want to do my own music. I would be my own performer, and I want to record and tour my own music and chart and everything like that. And, grateful I've been doing that all these years. So I've been living my dreams, but that's how it was back then. It was just kind of like playing behind somebody else. And then the jazz wasn't that prevalent. It was prevalent in Vegas, but more on I would say more on the big band side. And so
Okay.
I did big band and jazz ensembles and stuff, which is fine and stuff. But I just knew that I wasn't meant to be playing behind a music stand in a section, which I can do, which is fine.
Right, right.
But I want to be up in front and like just free to go wherever I want to go.
That's a good answer. I got a question. My good friend John Clemmer, he's a fan of yours.
Oh my
And
God, yeah.
yeah,
I talked to him a little bit.
yeah, and he asked me, he said, ask him, what does he think about bebop? Did he play bebop, and what does he think about bebop? So that's what he wanted me to ask you.
Absolutely. I love bebop. Like I cut my teeth on bebop, even like when a little bit like before I left for Las Vegas. There's this jazz series long. It's like a really old it's jazz series. It's very good for any. I would recommend to anybody. I don't know if they still make it anymore, but it's called the Jamie Ebersol
Yes, I remember those.
jazz series, and he has like dozens of records of different kind of jazz. And so, I have a couple of those, and then I, did the Charlie Parker one, which is Charlie Parker bebop.
Yeah.
Sonny Rollins, all that stuff. I love all that stuff, and so yeah, I was you played to the record, and just go over and over and over again, and just try to get the chord changes and just go for it. Absolutely, I love bebop.
Okay, so you had to. So the thing about that is, you develop the appetite for it, and it doesn't mean you have to play it. But the thing is, you can play. It's part of the repertoire if you need it to be, right? You know.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Like definitely like Dave, it's not my like I definitely realize it's not my forte,
Right.
but my forte is like what I do now, just more contemporary and like do my melodies and a little bit of it, light improv. Like if I'm playing a bebop, I'm not gonna play like 10 choruses.
Right. Right.
I'm gonna play like two or three choruses and then I'm out, next player. But yeah, just knowing what got to know your strengths and but definitely I definitely studied bebop,
Yeah.
classical, you know, John Coltrane as well, different other kinds of, that evolved from that for sure.
But for instance, in the venues that you play, like Spaghettini's and all that, they're not really trying to see a trio over there, a upright bass and a piano. I mean, it's not done like that much these days. So there's nothing wrong with it, but am I right? That's just the way it is now with the clubs. So they don't do that much now.
I think Dave, you just have to find the right club that'll bring that in.
Uh,
Not saying that Spaghettini, I can't speak for Spaghettini, but not saying that they wouldn't do that, but I think you just got to find the right clubs, and sometimes it's not it's not the most popular music now.
right. That's what I'm
And
getting at.
even
Yeah, yeah,
and even like our contemporary music, it's like and I'm glad I got in the heyday, like in the 90s, in the mid 90s. And even like our music is not like compared to pop and country. And our music is like way down in the big scale of things.
it
But even
is.
like just trio music, that's even farther
Yeah,
down
I
than that.
know.
So,
I know. Yeah.
I'm just glad that I was able to parlay my own aesthetic into what's going on now, like for many years, and get my sound.
Right. So let's talk about sound. How did you develop your sound? What type of exercises that you still do today that to keep your chops the way they are now? What do you do now as far as practice?
Definitely just I just get the horn out and just maybe just blow and like just start. I'll start riffing. But even before I get to that point, just blow warm air in the horn, get the horn warmed up. Then like maybe a few long tones, and what's really important is the note to note connection. Make like you got to make the note have forward motion, and so have the connection. So I just kind of warm up and just do some light riffs, and then it doesn't take long, and then I'll be on my way, and then I just start practicing. I'll just start playing some of my own songs, like my melodies, and that gets me warmed up and in tune, like lined up with what I have to do, and like my own song, get my warm up, just warm up your embouchure. When I was younger and coming up, I studied long tones, which was very important,
Yes.
especially for the altissimo register. It like kind of makes your embouchure, which is your embouchure is like your mouth positioning on the mouthpiece, and at long tones and overtone series, it gets your mouth and your ear attuned to like those upper notes, so you can. It's just very subtle, but if you put the work in, you'll love it. And then definitely study those. Sigurd Rascher, Long Tones for Saxophone, is a great book. Yeah, pretty much doing that, and just and like after I get warmed up, I start just riffing on my own songs, or just riff some jazz licks, and or just kind of whatever's in my head, and just like go for that. And then sometimes that spawns some melodies, and like, hey, what's going on here? And then you're
Yeah.
off to the races.
That's all right. You know what? I want to change the subject a little bit. I want to ask you a question. I mean, you don't have to answer if you don't want though. But I saw that you. I was looking at something about Nick Coleon. You and Nick Coleon. I was a big fan of his. So, may he rest in peace. I just wanted to
Yes.
ask you as a friend. Was he a friend of yours?
Absolutely, we got to be friends, because because from time to time we would cross paths during the time for a number of years, maybe like good 10, I don't know, it's 15 years, and like on cruises and just like one-offs. And a few times we were on the same bill. We'd be on the same bill, and then he'd play some songs, I'd play some songs, or I'd play, he'd play, come up, and then we kind of jamming a couple songs. Absolutely. And I remember I never forget, like sometimes we would travel together. We did like a Texas tour, a few cities in Texas, Bishop Arts, Houston, and Galveston, I believe. So they had a band for us, and so we were all together, and they had like the transportation, and we would just travel and just like when we're eating and all the stories and stuff. It just that's what I love that. No matter who I travel with, all the stories we hear, and just traveling with everybody, and so the same thing with Nick. He just has great stories, and just his way of just his personality. Just a great guy, and heck of a guitar player and artist.
And the way he dressed, because I'm a suit guy myself, so I wear suits, and that's what got me onto him. Man, that guy was clean, wasn't he?
Oh, absolutely. I wish I could do that more. But one thing is, like, I got a funny story. Like, one time we were in the midst of a show, and like, I think we played, or I just played, and then because regardless, I have a lot of hair, but even if I didn't, I sweat a lot when I play. So I'm drenched,
Oh,
so,
yeah.
and then I look at, so it was that time for Nick, and so Nick's there, like, Nick, man, you're like wearing all this clothes, you're so clean, man, like how come you don't see a drop of sweat? What's your secret? And then he goes like, Paul, never let him see you sweat.
That's awesome.
And everyone just busted out laughing. So that was a cool
Man.
Nick Ramone story.
Hey, so Paul, what were you doing when you heard your first record on the radio? Do you remember what you were doing?
I don't really remember exactly, but I think I might have been in my car, from on the horn when I heard Exotic. I think it was Exotica, or like at home. But whatever it was like just like a euphoric feeling that, oh my God, they're playing my song like in on something other than me playing it myself on my tape recorder or my,
Yeah.
and it's just the best feeling that, wow, that's like, maybe starting to happen.
And it's funny. Before we did this interview, I just, out of curiosity, I just looked up. I said, I went in and said, what are the chances of an average person growing up to becoming a professional musician and getting a recording contract? Do you have any idea what the percentage of that is?
I think it's a very low percentage, but it may be like a little bit more than a low percentage now. But because now because of the technology and like the way the business model is, of the couple of business models are the paradigms and stuff. So a big influence on me was one of my producers, Dino Esposito. So when we were growing in the college years, I met Dino, and he was like, just he was like a budding like musician and also a DJ. And so through the years he got his stuff together and recorded his pop music, and made an album and got on the pop charts, and had a top 5 single and he did like 3 really kick-ass albums. So like, well, especially in his first album, 24/7, he had me play on it and stuff. And so right there, I'm seeing all that. And then, he eventually got to tour with, New Kids on the Block went in to tour with him to open. And so he had me in the band, and, had a full band, and like, we're playing all these arenas and stuff. And so what I'm trying to tell you is like, Dino taught me, like, I saw someone right there, my friend, make it.
Yeah.
So I knew it was possible. So it made me think like, it is possible.
It
you
is.
just stay with it. And so that's what I did. I just stayed with it, and it took me like 15 more years. But, and I have I think my 9th CD is called Tenacity. So you just got to stay with it.
Yeah.
My 10th CD is called Tenacity. You just got to stay with it. And I never gave up, and just, you got to keep on going no matter what the odds are. And, if you want it bad enough, then you can do it.
You're right. But just out of curiosity, I just wanted to look it up. I just guessed. I figured it's probably 5%. It's 0.25%
Wow, I
of
had no
becoming a
idea.
recording artist and getting a contract. 0.25. So, my friend, you are amongst the 0.25 in the world when it comes to entertainment. So be proud of that.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, that's very cool to know.
Well, which brings me to another. I wanted to give you your flowers. 13 projects as a leader. Let's talk about your latest brand new day. Talk about that.
Yeah, the 13th CD, Dave. Wow. I change from time to time. I you change record labels. And one thing, Dave, I can go on a little side note of that. Like, I'm the kind of musician that, like, like the new technology. Some people can have their own label. If you could, you can have your own label and start your own label, and then like you get all the proceeds of it. But in exchange for you got to do there's less you got to do all the work for it. So I'm the kind of music, or you can get like a record deal, and I'm the kind of more musician like I've like got record deals. So anyway, so when I did It's a Brand New Day on my 13th CD, I got on a new label called Shawnee, and also up on my my home label is called Peak Records, which is Andy Howard Entertainment. So Peak Shawnee. So brand new label, and they had a great track record, and they were glad to have me, and I'm glad to be on their label. And so we just, no matter what label I'm on, I'm just gonna go to work with my whatever I'm working with, and like just kick out the best sounds I can at that time, and with all the resources available. And so we put out like we did our 10 songs, and maybe this time last year we were like I think we already mastered by this time last year, because it came out like in February. So yeah, we were all pretty much all done by this time, and then just waiting for mastering and stuff like that. And so yeah, I just got, I had Dino Esposito, of course, did the lion's share of it, like 8 songs, and then I went back to my latest choice um, producer, which is Barry Eastman. He did some of the songs on Ladies' Choice. So we got back together with him for like 2 songs, and I had Forevermore, had a number one song with that, and then Sunlight, and then so Barry did 2, and Dino Esposito did 8 songs, and it just came together really cool, and got to see New York a little bit, and really
Okay.
cool, and like really good picture on that, and just like kicking it out, like it just has like you listen to the music, it has like an inspiration, like a feel good, like okay, yesterday was yesterday, now it's a brand new day. Brush that off, go out there and kick butt, and do it the right way, do it the way you want to do it. It's a brand new day. Go for it.
It's a great project too, brother. I'm not just saying that because you're on it, but it's really good project, man. So
Thank you.
you did your thing. And then also congrats on 2 top 100 songs. Forevermore and It's a Brand New Day for this year.
Yeah, I just posted that last night. Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm glad you saw that.
yeah,
Absolutely. Yeah, on
yeah.
Smooth Jazz Global. Absolutely. Thank you.
And I tell you what, Paul, you have played with so many people, you shared so many stages. One of the things I got to ask you about is the Dave Cars cruise, because I have yet to go on one of those, but I understand that they're pretty awesome. Talk to me about that if you would.
You got to go. You got to sign up, because like they sell out fast.
Yeah.
You definitely should go on one. They're the fun one of the funnest things I've ever done. Like touring wise, you're just like just besides you have to be invited. Like but when you do, you sign up, you'll get to play your music, and then you'll get to play with all these other musicians in some different fashions. And like you do like these specialty shows, which are really cool. Just had a ball with that. And we did two different tours, like 1 week, cruises. When after the first week, a new group of people come on, fans come on, do it all again, and we just went to the most fantastic destinations, Greece, Malta, and Italy,
Oh man.
and like great vessel, the ship, and everything like that. And I have a little bit of motion sickness, but I used the patch
Okay.
behind that ear, and I was good to go, man. I was definitely, you should check it out.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. That's definitely
You
on my
love it.
list. I say, I had to check out that Dave Coster. Let me ask you about him though, because anybody that knows him that I interview, I just, hope you don't mind. I just ask, Man, to me, he seems like the Quincy Jones of musicians. He brings all of this talent together. He has a knack for that. What is it about him that you observed that he can get everybody together like that and behave?
That's a good analogy, Dave. I did you know what? He is like a Quincy Jones because he in the fact that he brings like he can bring he has the talent and the wherewithal and the power to bring people together, and then for his events and just the nicest guy and has a great team behind him or beside him with him and you know ultimate musician, sax player. And so, he's given me my flowers a few times in the last year.
Yeah,
He loved like my song Exotica. And like one of the best things he's ever said to me was like, Paul, like when you came up with Exotica and Pleasure Seeker, like, man, like who is this guy? This is like, man, I want to like, we got to do some like whatever his next project he was doing. We got to do some stuff like that. But then they said, well, maybe we should just go a different way, because this is like, But he says, I wish I would have wrote those songs.
yeah,
And so
yeah.
that's like, man,
That's good
what
stuff.
can you say? That's a really good compliment.
Yeah, yeah. You've played with a lot of you share stages with a lot of. I saw a picture of you and Maren Meadows, and was it Maren Meadows and Najee? I think it was Najee, or I think it was. I saw you guys. I was like, man, look at that right there, bro. Man, you are one of the best in the world, and you get to play. How does that make you feel, man? You be with all of these talent all over the world, man.
It's totally wonderful, Dave. I mean, it's like a manifestation of all the work you do, and like, eventually, come full circle with like some of your heroes, even I met David Sanborn a couple times and taken pictures with him, or like, just different people, I got to play with the Rippingtons. So,
Oh
even
yeah,
they were out way
yeah,
before I was and stuff like
yeah.
that. And just meeting, all the different sax players, even the newer breed of musicians coming up and performers. And, it's just one of the byproducts of doing it, so if you just hang in there and just keep working hard and do your thing, eventually you'll kind of come full circle with other great artists.
With all that being said, all of these icons like David Sanborn, you ever fanboyed out on anybody, even though you're great yourself? Have you ever, like when you met Sanborn, did you kind of like say, "Oh my God"? Talk
Well,
to me.
absolutely,
Oh, you did.
absolutely. I got the gusto to go up and ask him for an autograph. Asked him to take a picture, which wasn't too bad. But he was so gracious and took a picture on a couple of occasions. Snatched this guy, and then actually on one of my songs, I think on my third CD, it's called Undercover. I got to work with Maurice White of Earth, Wind and Fire, the
Right.
late Maurice
Uh-huh.
White. He produced a few songs on that record, and so like there, right, I can remember that. What comes to mind is right there. Going to the studio, he was right there in the studio in Santa Monica at the time, and like totally starstruck. This is Maurice White. This is Earth, Wind and Fire, man. This is like the heart and soul of Earth, Wind and Fire right there.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I was like that with him. Also, and I went and met Jeff Lorber for the first time, like playing on Dino's record, 24/7. Playing that solo. He's like just like 3 feet away, like playing, and I'm like, oh my god. And then like, but everything really went well, and just like you got to get over that and just keep on going with your, don't let it and like just take over, but just like it's like wow, for sure.
Jeff Lorber is one of those guys that you're talking about because he actually had Eric Benet, he had Karen White, all of these people on his projects. And Kenny G was in his band. Jeff Lorber Fusion.
Absolutely,
You know,
absolutely.
so yeah, he's another great one, man. I got a chance to do you remember Birdland West in Long Beach?
I do not. I'm not
Okay.
familiar with that.
But yeah, it was a club kind of like Spaghettini. And back in the
Oh,
day, Wilton Felder, Gerald Albright, Art Porter. You remember Art Porter? May rest-
absolutely.
Yeah, all of those guys. I met all those guys down there at the club down there, man. I remember one time I was talking to Gerald and Jeff was there right there. They were real cool. We talked. So I said, "How's Kenny doing?" And he says, "Well," Gerald said, "Let me see. How many millions have he done sold, Jeff?" I said, "Yeah, he's doing fine." you know.
Awesome.
Yeah, we just talking shop down there, but yeah, that's cool, man. So
Absolutely.
did you ever play in church, Paul, growing up? Did you play in church?
Dave, I did not. Growing up, we did go to church sometimes, but my fondest memories of going to church, like we go like on like April Sunday, get dressed up, and sometimes my dad would take us to, like, my dad was a Mason, and we go
Okay.
to father son breakfasts, many years of doing that. And that was in church, but it would be in a church, and then we'd eat in this one other part of the church and stuff. But I remember like just being a little kid, and then like listening, and then like I was totally like it was just like it was totally like foreign to me. Like I would just lay in my mom's lap and go to sleep. And like, yeah,
That wasn't
it
your
was not
thing.
it was not a church. It was not a church, like going to church and all that stuff.
Yeah, right.
But my parents did instilled me, my brother and I, our morals and stuff like that. And so, yeah, we went to Sunday school a few times and stuff, but wasn't really, I never played in church.
No problem. Hey, let me ask you about growing up in Denver. The thing about the altitude, is that real? Like trying to play the horn, is it how is
It's real.
that playing? Oh, is that right?
It's for real. You know what? Like, but like in the midst of when you're already there and growing up, you doesn't it's nothing. It's no problem because that's all you know.
Okay.
But then so like when I left Denver, Colorado, went to Las Vegas, and then came back to do shows.
Uh-huh.
Like I would play outside like Winter Park or Breckenridge or pretty much anywhere. When you go back, you can feel it, like when you're playing your phrases, like your wind is a little bit shorter. Like
Oh, okay.
I'm kind of stuck in wind a little bit, and this, some shows will have like some oxygen, still have oxygen on the side in case if you need it.
Is
I
that
don't know
right?
if they do that anymore, but I remember having that. But yeah, it is a thing. So yeah, especially when if you don't live there and you're going there, it's thinner air and higher altitude. Absolutely.
Do you circular breathe?
I do not. I've tried it. I've tried it a few. You just for like a few minutes, whatever. You back in college, whatever. You try
Uh-huh.
to there's a certain way trying to do it, but I could never get it down, and so it's not my thing.
It's hard, man. I know I tried it too with the straw and all that stuff, man. I was like, I forget that, man. I'd rather do something else, man. It's
Absolutely, yeah. It's not for me, but like if you can do that, then and you can. It's very electrifying to do that, and
yeah,
like when you're playing for people, just hold one note and play,
right.
and then wow, yes.
And I would imagine it help you too when you're playing longer phrases too. If you're almost about to run out of air, you could, if you know how to do it, I guess, yeah.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah. It's just not my thing.
Yeah.
No word.
So who was the most famous person you ever met?
Oh, wow. Oh, God. That's a good question. Um,
It can be an actor, it can be an athlete,
I would
whatever.
I would probably say like so, during my music career, you get to meet like I met a lot of musicians,
Hmm.
and then sometimes so then so I got into world of golf like about 8 years ago because through my music, I one of my fans was Mike Woodson. Right now, he coaches for University of Indiana, his alma mater. But back a few years, he coached the Knicks, New York Knicks. He coached the Atlanta Hawks. And so one day I was traveling and I was at this one airport and I got to the gate early, and I was just getting my seat at the gate and then someone goes like, hey Paul, like someone's calling me, like, and I took around and like, and I didn't, it was kind of soft, so I didn't really hear it, but so I just sat in my seat. Then this gigantic guy comes up and like, Paul, oh, how you doing? My name is Mike Woodson. I'm a big fan of yours. Like, oh my God, okay, cool. I didn't know who he was. And
Right,
then he
right.
handed me, I'm a big fan of yours. This is my card. My name is Mike Woodson. I coach the Hawks. I go, what? Oh my God. Oh, great. Well, thank you. Nice to meet you too, and all that. So then, like a few years later, he had his own Mike Woodson Las Vegas Invitational in Las Vegas. He
Okay.
had it for several years, and he invited me just to come golf, and then a couple times I would play, my horn. And so that was my thing into golf. So meeting like Mike Woodson, and then like so anyway, off those. So since then, I play different from time to time, different like charity events, golf events. So I've met like the most famous, though it's hard to say. I met like Cedric the Entertainer.
Okay.
That's pretty big time.
Yeah.
Like Spencer Haywood, like he's a
Basketball.
NBA
Yeah.
legend.
Yeah. I remember him.
Um, Paul Silas, like
Oh, yeah.
geez, like, just the biggest one though. God, that's like there's quite a few I can't really think, but maybe Maurice White. It's like
Yeah.
so in different circles, it's
Right.
like
I
different, like
understand.
celebrity, and then it's like music. Probably like Maurice White. in like for music, and getting to work with him. But God, Jose Canseco,
Oh, you met him
all
too?
these golf,
Okay.
all these. I can't. I'm drawing a blank on these names and everything, but all these great like former athletes that were like that are retired.
Yeah.
They're out all these events, man. They're like right there, and like you can go talk to them, and they're so cool. They were so cool. Byron Scott.
Yeah.
Um, it's just that's one of the byproducts of just doing that, and in the golfing world and stuff. So I would say probably most of them through the music and in the golfing world.
Okay. How do you like golf? Now, I love golf. I'm not good at it, but I love it though. What about you?
I'm pretty much the same. I'm just average decent golfer.
Yeah.
I don't use and now I don't lose that many balls. So and I'm shooting in the 90s now. So but yeah, I love golf, and whenever I can get a free moment, I'm out there either at the range or I'm playing either by myself or they put me up with somebody,
Yeah.
or I go with my friends and do around.
Yeah. I usually play on once a week. Sometimes I used to play twice a week, but I don't practice though. I mean, I just practice the saxophone. I'm like you. I love the horn. That's my main focus. I'm not a professional. I play at church, but I just
Yeah.
love the saxophone though. So I
No,
spend
good for
most of my
you.
time practicing the saxophone though.
All right, there you go.
Yeah.
Awesome.
you know. But so if you had your chance to play with anyone, singers or whatever else, who would you like if say, Paul, I need you to come play with me?
Oh, I need to write these questions down because everyone asks me that, and I'm all like, I'm not prepared to answer it. But geez, there's like, even on the pop side, like The Weekend, like
Okay.
I mean, I met Patrice Rushen back when in high school. We did like the Mobile, Alabama Jazz Fest. I met her like I was just like a teenager. It'd be nice to play with her. Patrice Rushen. Um, there's so many artists out now. I did a cover song on my new album, It's a Brand New Day, with a Billie Eilish song, Chihiro. I would love to play with her. Um, so those are a few that come to my mind right now.
She's amazing, by the way. And Patrice Russian
Absolutely. Absolutely.
can play almost anything.
Yeah, and like her approach to it, like it's just like she's not like just like coming from the belly singer. She's just like very, very just slight and just gets her, very soft approach, and I love it. And just like she has her own style that really, really captured it and really, really took the headlines.
If you weren't a professional saxophonist, what do you think you would be doing?
Wow, that's a really good question because growing up after I made my mind that I wanted to be a musician in high school, I put all my eggs in one basket. So it was like I was either going to do this or I wouldn't be here anymore. Who knows? But maybe like I'm definitely an artistic person. So maybe would have done maybe like drawing, painting, or art, or some artwork or something like that.
Okay. You a
Maybe
football
that
fan.
something in the arts
You a
for
football
sure.
fan too, right? I see you with your Broncos jersey on, huh?
Well, I did play like in ninth grade and then first year of high school, and then I learned quick. It was fun trying it, and I wanted to just give it a try. And then like let's stick with the sax.
Yeah, I know
That's
that's right. Safer.
it's too much. It was yeah, too much. The too much hitting and all that, and
Yeah.
but it was all I tried it. It was not bad.
hmm But yeah, you did the right thing, though, brother. You stuck with the sax, man. And you still doing it. So let me ask you this, Paul. After 30 years or so in the business, what keeps you hungry, brother? What keeps you doing what you do, man?
That's another great question, Dave. I would say just like the next one, the next thing, the next concert, the next album. I never don't lose that. I never lose my hunger because I still, to me, I still have more to prove to for myself and to others, and just like others out there. I want them to see like if you haven't heard of me, if like maybe if I grew up with you and we were in high school together, we went to junior high, and you saw me carrying this little nerdy kid carrying his horn every day in the bus stop. And like, remember that's him, that's him. That kind of stuff drives me.
Yeah.
So, and just the honor of making more music. I have like plenty of songs. Like I have plenty of ideas. I like hundreds of song ideas, like on hard drives and on my recorders and stuff like that. just waiting, and in my spare time off in my studio, I can just go back to that and just try to, we got a good thing going on here. We can put a bridge with this, and and then what are the latest ones I can bring to the table, into production and try to make a good song out of it with my producers. So it's all that comes into play, just wanting to keep on going. I'm never satisfied.
What is your process for writing that said music, though? What is your approach? Do you do the keyboard, or in the shower something comes to you, or what's your process?
It's a couple different things, not just one, but definitely like, just being out doing my thing, like running errands, and like my mind is like all over the place. Like I hear ideas and stuff like that. And if I'm hearing like on the radio, if I have the radio on, or if I'm hearing like, XM radio, whatever, or just hearing or going into a store doing some shopping, they'll have music on, and like, different vibes like kind of hit you sometimes. And so like, wow, that's a pretty cool vibe. Then let me hum something to that, and then so you got it in your phone. Sometimes it might not amount to much, but sometimes it does, and like you just get a whole vibe to which to go into. And so that's one way. Sometimes just practicing. I'll just be riffing and whatever, and just playing, and then I'll come up on a certain little phrase and like, that's pretty cool. Let me expound on that and make a nice melody out of it. It can happen that way, and then it can also happen. I also play a little bit of keyboards and percussion, but like on the sequencer in the computer, and just kind of just experiment on different chord progressions and just little different vibes, and you can make songs. I can write off that, and then another way is like I with my producers, they'll write actually like tracks without the melody and present them to me, and then I would if I'm vibing on any one of them, we just kind of go to work with that and start writing with that way. So it's probably like four different ways.
Okay. All right. And so how do you name them? I always ask, how do you guys come up with names for songs that nobody's singing? How do you come up with a name? You know?
That's good. Yeah, everyone asks that question. That's a good question as well. Sometimes some songs are easiest to name. They kind of almost name themselves because and some come really harder, and we're at the last minute getting a name for a song. But the rule of thumb is like I just try to if I'm co-writing with someone, they come into the play too. But I just try to see what it evokes in me, what it reminds me of, or what does it sound like and there's no words, but what does it remind you of you doing, or what is it kind of like, this feels like I'm doing something, 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 ABC. And so I just go with that, usually just whatever it makes you feel like. And then, and like kind of just use some, kind of, you can like use kind of the modern phrases, whatever the vernaculars of what people are using, and you kind of use that, come into effect with that and stuff like that.
Okay, that's pretty good stuff, man. So let me ask you
Hmm.
this, Paul. Do you have any rituals, any pregame rituals before your concert? Do you need an hour by yourself? Do you play with
Uh,
your reeds? I mean, what do you do, man? You got any pregame rituals?
wow, that's what I don't really have any. I would say, Dave, I don't really have any pregame rituals. I just get my obviously we do this. We get there, you rehearse the band, you get a sound check, and then there'll be some time in between, and you try to get something to eat and all that. You know, the horns left. My horn's probably still left out unless we have to go back to the hotel, come back. Always take your horn, but I come back, I'm dressed, I have my horn. Definitely make sure everything is going good, and I've already rehearsed the band. I'm already pretty warmed up. Um, Maybe I don't know, just a couple deep breaths. I don't know, like
Okay,
before, like you're waiting in the wings and they're like announcing you, and like just relax and like what, just visualize me going out there and doing my thing. Pretty much. It's not really much, Dave.
so how do you deal with the nerves, or how do you deal with the nervous energy before the show when you get ready to go out? Like
Oh,
you
wow.
say, how do you deal with that?
That's a good question because definitely there's definitely nerves and nervous energy, and it takes about like now in the last several years it's a little bit less and less now because maybe I'm just aware of my own self,
Right.
and so but usually maybe after the first song or two, like you really get honed in. I get really honed in on what I'm doing, and then even like because each place I'm not playing in the same place every night or whatever.
Right.
So you just get adapted to each place. You come out and like you see everybody out there. You got your monitors, the band's kicking, and you're just getting your bearings once more and just finding your groove. And then after a song or two, and then like the first song, okay, this is everything sounds good. Sometimes things change, the music changes in the monitors and whatever.
Yeah.
Like, oh man,
Yeah.
but this time it's pretty much like you left it in the sound check, and so you just start hitting it, man. Start performing.
You got any gig horror stories like you got there? You couldn't hear yourself. The monitor wasn't working, or I forgot my neck strap, or I mean, any kind of things like that happen before the show or during the
Well,
show. Anything weird?
let's see. Thankfully, not that. Thankfully, not that many. But one I can say about many years ago, I was with. We had we do package tours
Okay.
sometimes. Like if I'm not playing a solo show, like you get combined in a package. So this one season, it was what was it called? It was called Just the Sax. So it was Richard Elliott, Gerald Albright, Jeff Lorber, and myself, and just the greatest time playing with these guys. And we had a really cool show and stuff. And everyone just plays a few songs of their own, and we come together and on different songs and stuff. Just the best time. So we're gonna play like San Diego. So they had me come in like a day or two before that and and just come and fly really early in the morning and do like those local TV shows. When you play, bring some either play a cappella in the TV studio. So anyway, at the time I was like, this goes back to traveling with your horn. I used this like soft leather case that carried both my soprano and alto, and so it was called a reunion blues bag. And
I
so I love
remember those.
they're really cool they're really cool bags.
Yeah.
And but like probably not really for traveling on the airplane, but like if you're just going like locally, whatever, they're great. But anyway, I was using that, and knock on wood, nothing happened. So anyway, I was going to go on the airplane on, and this airline's no longer there. It's called America West. They said I couldn't. They wouldn't let my horn. They wouldn't let me on with my horn. I said, like, whatever. Come on now. I've been doing this for a long time. Music's no problem. I'm sorry, we can't. Yada yada yada. We can't let you on with your horn. Well, we can if you want. We'll put it right in this special part, like on the plane, and then we'll give it to you first, right when you come out. When you come out the door of the plane, and like you promised. So yes, we'll promise you. So okay, I did. I went for it. So bottom line is, I shouldn't have went for it. I should have done that. I should have just waited and got on another flight. But so anyway, we landed. I got my horn, and I immediately looked at it right there, and then the bell of my Smart 6 was smashed.
Oh. Oh.
So horror story. I was supposed to play like later that day on that TV show that morning, and I called everybody saying my horn got effed up, jacked up,
Yeah.
and I couldn't play. So you guys, I'm sorry, I have to. So we canceled it. So that was probably that was like a horror story
Yeah, that
for that.
is. Wow, that's all right. Well, hey, like you said, hey, good thing is that you don't have many of those, though.
Exactly. You know what they like I brought it back to my repairman in Vegas, Chuck Kessler Music. And you know what? You can't even tell it even happened.
I saw you said you just got your soprano fixed over there, right?
Yeah, it needed a little bit. I needed some adjusting a little bit. Wasn't like, anyway, you can tell when it's not totally right.
Right.
So I just went there like on Saturday. It's just Saturday. And then absolutely, I've been going to them for years. I bought horns from them. Great people. It's like family owned business, and they've been doing it a long time. So that's my people.
What soprano were you playing? The one you got fixed. What is that one? What make is that one?
So I don't play the Cannonball Sopranos. I've had this. I got it from Chuck Kessler and Sons Music, and it's Yanagisawa.
Oh yeah, yeah,
So Yanagisawa. I play the Yanni on for soprano, so that's what I prefer in that one.
yeah. I have a Yanni. I got a straight and a curved Yanni. Those are great
All right,
harmonies, man. Yeah.
they are great horns.
Yeah, but I don't play a lot of soprano. Soprano kicks my butt, man. I can be honest with you. That one, that's a tough horn to play, man.
It's a tough horn.
Isn't it, man? So I just mostly do tenor, mostly alto, but a little alto and tenor, but soprano every now and then, though. But I listen to you
You
play.
got
How you guys play? Man, it looks so effortless. They barely blowing. I'd be like, huh, you know, so- you know what I mean, man? Soprano is something else, man. You know.
Absolutely. It's like smaller. It's smaller, and you got to put that. There's a lot of like, like when you're playing, like you're projecting your air through it, and then you got to make music and the notes and all that. But then you got to like there's like back pressure. You're holding
Yes.
back, as you can tell. You got to hold back some air too, but then you're like putting it through. It's like that delicate balance of both, and
Yeah.
that's what playing the sax or like a wind instrument is. So, and even more so on soprano.
Especially when you get past, you try to get from G to A, B, C, and all that. The higher you go up, the worse,
Absolutely.
the harder it is to control. Though I'm not gonna give up on it, but I just don't do it that often, though. You know what I mean? So it's all good. Yeah. So
Yeah.
Paul, before I get you out of here, brother, I really appreciate your time, man. And you were so gracious when I met you at. And I don't know if you remember, but I met you at NAM last year, and I took a picture with you. And
Okay.
I was telling you about that. I showed you on my phone because I had my horn. I said, Paul, I got a horn just like yours. And you told me, he said, hey man, keep that. They don't make them anymore. Well, actually, they're bringing it back this year.
I saw that like in the last couple of weeks they
Right.
brought it back.
They brought it back.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So now
Absolutely.
do they do you get new ones later or like a couple years later? Do they tell you can come and get another one or whatever? How does that work?
Oh, you mean with through
With
Cannonball, or what do you
Cannonball,
mean?
yeah.
No, it's just you do whatever you want. If you sometimes like with the rigors of the road, like um, they might come up with a new thing that just like sparks my eye. Like,
Mhm.
oh wow, and then like I want that one. I want that one. Another one. I want that one now. So you just do whatever you want.
Yeah,
And like those things are good to go for many years, several years.
they are, man. Yeah. So how many horns do you have, man, in your collection? Do you
Oh
collect?
my God. I think I have like nine. I think I have nine horns, around about nine horns total of different altos, sopranos, and tenors.
Do you do any EWs or anything?
I do have my iwi. I don't do that much anymore, but I do have it, and I just tinker around with it.
Yeah.
And then mine's like the one I have now. It has the sounds on board. It's the Akai, but they have even better ones now. That was like probably they have even more recent models now.
They got
But
the Rolands and all of those, right? Yeah.
absolutely, they have like some that are like I played some at NAM last year, like more like different, like more Japanese models and stuff. But those are fun to play. But there's something with like the way the fingering are like. There's sometimes it's like this can't get over the break with the if you make if you don't finger it just right, you're going to get a glitch, and
Yeah.
stuff. But
Yeah.
they are fun to play, like some of those synth lines and stuff. And
Hmm.
who knows? But I incorporated years ago. I incorporated like the wind controller, and with a wireless mic, and then through a couple pieces of gear, and I got a nice little quarter sound. And so I used that on a couple albums, like with
Okay.
the Saxon vocoder. So that I had fun with that, and I brought it out on the road for a little bit, and then after a while it was like that's like bringing an extra horn. It was like an extra case to bring, and it was like kind of a lot to bring. So
I
and
understand.
then other people were starting to do it too. It's like, okay, whatever. Okay. I did enough of that now. So let's just go with the sax.
All right. Hey, Paul, before I get you out of here, brother, I really appreciate all your time, man. And you're so gracious, man. And your assistant, she was so wonderful in setting this up. So I really appreciate her too. So tell her thank you, Andy, right? Andy, thank you
Andy
so
Howard,
much.
that's right. That's my
I really
manager.
appreciate it. And for me, Paul, it's an honor because a year ago I met you. I've seen you several times in concert at Newport Beach and things like that. But
Right.
to actually be interviewing you a year later, brother, that's God right there, man. And I'm not a
Yes,
journalist, by the way. I'm just a sax player. I'm just an amateur sax player that loves music and loves you guys. And I just want you to know I really appreciate from the bottom of my heart you taking out your time to give somebody that's not even a journalist and say, "Hey, brother, I'm coming to your show." I really appreciate you, that man.
you got it. No worries, Dave. Thank you for having me once again. And that showed your tenacity. You cared to go through the process, and you got it done. And here we are talking. So it was
That's
great.
it. So, before we go, can you give everybody your socials? Any old social information? Your concert coming up at the end of the month?
Absolutely. In a few days, I'll be playing in Chicago for New Year's Eve for smoothchicago.com. And then I have January 19th in Lompoc, California. Those are the next two. And then I have February in Albuquerque, ABQ. And so all my socials are pretty much Paul Taylor or Paul Taylor Sax. Like Facebook is Paul Taylor. I have 2 pages on there. And Instagram is Paul Taylor Sax. I'm on X as well, which is formerly Twitter, Paul Taylor Sax. So just either Paul Taylor or Paul Taylor Sax, you'll get me up.
Okay, when you come back to Seal Beach, if you come back to Spaghettini next year, I'll definitely come to see you this time again, brother.
Wonderful. All right.
Okay.
Absolutely. I love playing there. Yeah, they had me like 3 times last year.
Right.
So
And I miss you. So, but this time I'm definitely gonna catch you next year.
okay.
Okay. And I'll see you at NAM.
Absolutely.
You gonna be at NAM?
I'm gonna make it to NAM. Like, I just go like one day.
Yeah.
So pick one of the days and because I have Lompoc. Lompoc.
Right.
It's right around me, so I gotta figure it out which way I'm gonna go.
Okay, I got you. Okay. Thank you so much, Paul. All right.
My
And
pleasure, Dave. Thank you.
this will be uploaded on Facebook and YouTube, and I can send it to your email so you can put it on your social platform if you like.
Awesome.
Okay.
You got it, brother.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Paul Taylor, take a look out for him. If you're in Chicago area, check him out. Check out his his latest, It's a Brand New Day, and all his other stuff. He's a great sax player and even better person. So this
Oh
has
my
been
God.
Dave Saxologist for Saxophonists. Thank you all. And for everybody that's watching in 2025, I thank every one of you for all your time that you have spent watching these videos with these wonderful entertainers. Thank you all. Take care. Thank you, Paul.
Thanks, Dave.